It has been a while again. Don't ask where I've been or what I've been doing for the past 6 months. For some odd reason, I've always taken a break after posting my best videos and I cannot explain why. Alright, to start things off, today is March 14th of 2025. It's been exactly 1 year since I started my journey to becoming the best Gene main as a free-to-play. Although I posted my Jean video on the 28th of June, if you've watched the video, you'd know I pulled for Jean on her birthday exactly a year apart from today. So, what's happened since then? A lot has happened since then. For this video, I will be giving you an update on what I've done in the past year since I've got Jean. It's been a journey to say the least, but I'll try to bring this video down to a watchable length without it being too boring. So, let me show you what I've cooked up over my 1-year journey. Alright, so let's get this started. So firstly, I'm going to be showing you my stats, including my weapons, my artifacts. Then I'll be going into the damage and like the damage showcases. But first, I'm going to be addressing the elephant in the room, which is that, as I said, I'm a free-to-play Gene main, which means that I don't spend a single dime on this game. But how do I have a skin? Because that you have to pay for it unless you're like gifted. Well, yes, that's partially what happened. I was gifted this skin. Let me explain. Basically, what happened is that I obviously have a skin now, but I am technically free to play. Why? Because the Genesis crystals that I got was actually from a friend. He donated the money and I bought it. Other thing, I bought 2 Vulcan moons. So the reason why I bought 2 Vulcan moons, even though I technically say that I'm a free-to-play, there's a good reason, right? Basically, I missed out on a lot of dailies, a month's worth of dailies. The only way I can make up for it is by buying a Genesis crystal, which gives you like 30 days of Primo Gems, plus it also gives you like 300 Genesis crystals with the Vulcan moon. So that's how I got the Genesis crystals for this skin. Now, I do have Genesis crystals left over. If I go into my shop, and I'll show you, I have about 880 Genesis crystals left. But at the same time, I have not bought any other skin with it. And I also have not converted it into Primogems that you'd use. But I have not done that. Why? I just don't wanna. I don't need to. That's one of the main reasons. I just don't need to. I have 36,000 Primogems. Let's get into the more fun stuff, or I guess some of the more flexing stuff. Let's just go into the stats. I've already given you a sneak peek. Obviously, she's level 90 with all her talents leveled up. She's triple crown, blah blah blah. But let's start with the weapons, or actually no, let's start with the attributes. Yeah, why not? Maximum HP 21,641, attack 2,102. The rest don't matter. The crit rate and crit damage is pretty well balanced, as I'd say. 78.1 to 226.8, which is close enough to a 1:2 ratio. It's a bit off, but it goes to crit damage, and that's what I'm looking for. But I also do have a 15% animal damage bonus because of my artifact substats. Before that, let me just show you my weapon, which is the Urako Mitsugiri. Obviously, I've leveled it up to level 90 as well. But there's a good reason why I have the Urako Mitsugiri still. One, because I was gonna go for Mist Splitter. Another thing, Urako Mitsugiri has been like good enough. If I were to switch to, let's say, the best in slot would be Primordial Jade Cutter, my crit ratio would not be good. I can just show it right now. If I switch to Primordial Jade Cutter, which I'll tell you when I got it.
Oh god, what is that? Oh, for crying out loud! Oh! All that for today. Now it's all going. Oh, please, another early, please. Please, just give me an early. Please. Please, I'm begging. I'm begging you. Oh, I'm not getting it early. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna be down below 30k. Oh, that's the first time I've been below 30k now. Wow. Oh, I got it. That hurts though.
Basically, the Primordial Jade Cutter, it gives 44.1% crit rate. If I do that, it's gonna throw my crit ratio out of the window. It's 122.2 to 138.6. So obviously that's why I'm not switching, because my crit ratio won't be, you know, efficient enough until I have the right artifacts. Speaking of artifacts, Viridescent Veneer set, obviously VV set 15% bonus, I told you already. and the Shiminawa set bonus, which gives attack percentage by 18%, which gives me enough. And let me just show you the stats on these artifacts, which are, I wouldn't say they're bad, because I don't want to be like cocky and say that they're bad. Obviously they're pretty good, but they're not like amazing or something. Like obviously if I go and show in enhance, obviously this is like not that good, but it's there. It's like usable, at least, you know. Same with this. It's like usable, I guess. Well, this is actually kind of good, but this is much better, you know. Crit damage is like 1-to-1 ratio pretty much. Same thing here. Actually no, this is actually like min-maxed, but yeah, this could have been better, you know, something like that. It's basically all of it is just, it could have been better, except this one. This one is like, how the hell did I even get this one? But yeah, pretty much like that. And then obviously this one is decent, but obviously if I had like three stats that went to crit damage, that would be much better. Now I'm going to be showing you the damage that I deal with the stats. Alright, so I have a few healer shields here. Is that a exploding barrel? Okay, never mind. Oh, I'm getting shot. Alright, so here's the hold down E, and this is how much damage I do. It's around 30k. It sometimes goes up to 31k, or like just below 31k. But that's a crit hit with 30k. So that's my usual crit hits by holding down E. Now, why I'm saying I'm holding down E is mainly because of her constellation. Obviously, I have C2. But the C2 is not important. It just increases attack speed and increases movement speed. But C1 is important. Why? Because Gale Blade, after holding for more than 1 second, is increased. The damage is increased by 40%. I just do a quick tap like this. I'm dealing around 23k, so the 40% increase is actually pretty significant, I would say. Now, obviously, our burst does more damage, but I'm not going to be testing out her burst. But here is her just like normal damage, which is like about 3k per crit hit. But if I do hit like, I don't know, like non-crit, like right there, I'd just be doing like, I don't know, 1k-ish, and that's it. Alright, since I'm pretty much done showcasing everything, I'm just gonna be going over a few questions or just a few things that I'd like to explain a bit more in detail. So basically, first things first, why did I go with the artifact set that I went with, which is 2-piece Shiminawa and 2-piece Nighttime? But firstly, yeah, I do not have 2-piece Nighttime just yet. Why? Because I'm still grinding for it. At first, when I built Jean, the artifacts that I had were Golden Troop and at the time VV as well. Another time I was also grinding for VV because I was building Kazuha, so I just threw on the VV set, and the VV set somehow gave me good enough stats to just keep it around still. And with Shiminawa I grinded a lot of emblems, so I ended up getting a few Shiminawa sets anyways. For the Nighttime Whispering set, I will be working for that, but for now I'll be building other characters. So that's one of the things that I will be trying to do. Another thing is, why do I have the Primordial Jade Cutter if I'm not using it? Well, I will be using it when I actually have the artifact sets with the artifact substats that I want. So right now the artifact substats that I want are mainly focused on crit rate because I don't have that much crit rate. That's why I will be moving my focus into crit damage, which is when I will switch over to the Primordial Jade Cutter, since the Primordial Jade Cutter gives me 44% crit rate overall. So when I have enough crit damage and enough crit rate as well, so because I need at least 75% crit rate, I will be switching over to the Primordial Jade Cutter. And yeah, about the artifacts, if you do know how to build Jean as a DPS, you'd know that the Bloodstained Chivalry, which gives you a 25% physical damage bonus, is actually better than a 2-piece set. But at this point, it's too late for me to change to a 2-piece set of Shiminawa and 2-piece of Bloodstained, because I already wasted a lot of time on Nighttime, and I don't want to waste any more time on getting an artifact set that won't be useful to any other character, because nobody else uses the Bloodstained Chivalry, at least in my team. So it will be a waste of resin for me, and it will just pretty much all be ineffective. But I will leave Google Docs in the description for some people that might want to build their own DPS Jean for the Jean main subreddit, who made a Jean main guide for any Jean that you need to build, whether it's support, sub DPS, or DPS as well. So you could check that out if you are going to be building your Jean, whether it's healer Jean for Farina, or just your team overall, or just Jean as a DPS in general. So you could go ahead and try it yourself and try to build Jean if you really like her that much. Alright, so one thing I want to talk about is the goal for my Jean. So when am I going to be satisfied with the gene that I have? Well, that's a bit difficult to explain, but basically I have calculated something which I named the theoretical maximum DPS gene, which is basically gene at her complete maximum ability, which is like her crit ratio is very high, her attack is very high, as well as her HP, because, you know, if her HP is high and I use Primal Jade Cutter, I get 1.2% of that into attack. So that's why there is a theoretical maximum gene that I have calculated, which I wanted to show in this video, but it'll take a long time for me to explain. But to give you an idea of what the theoretical maximum gene is, it will be around 27,000 HP, nearly 3,000 attack, with 95% crit rate and 283, I think exactly, is the crit damage. So that's the theoretical maximum, but it could also be wrong. I might be wrong with the calculations, but for now I will leave that up for discussion. But another thing is that the maximum that I'm going for? Technically, yes, you can always make your gene better, or I can always make my gene better, but to get to that, I will have to work for a million years or something, because you cannot build gene like this pretty easily, because this is the theoretical maximum. This is a perfect scenario where all the desired substat roles are in the one that I want. So technically this is mathematically impossible, because I would be grinding for a billion, 2 billion, maybe 3 billion, or even more years, and that's not an exaggeration. But I will be satisfied if I can get my gene to at least have like 250 to 80 crit ratio, with like 2500 attack, with a lot of HP as well. But if I can't have that, then I will have to, you know, roll back and at least get to 75 to 240, which I'm pretty close to already, but that depends on how my artifacts go later on. Now the footage you're seeing in the background is like around from December, where I used about 60 to 70 fragile resin just to, you know, farm gene specifically. No other characters, but obviously some of the other characters might have, you know, gotten the artifacts that I didn't want to use on gene because I already have something better. Alright, I think that's all I have to talk about, because I've already shown you my stats after building gene for 1 year, as well as showcased my damage, which I know is not that, like, you know, it's not impressive to some degree, because other characters can hit the cap that Genshin has put on. But still, I am proud of the gene that I have so far, because it only took me 1 year to build, which compared to other people like Toronto, who took like around 3 to 4 years to build gene, and obviously he had a lot more time. But I built this gene in 1 year right after getting her. I had to first grind for gene and then pull for her, and then try to get her constellations as well, which I've only gotten up to C2. But I'm going to be building up to C6, and obviously I will try to go for R5 Primal Jade Cutter as well. But those things take time. But for now, that's all I had to talk for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. It took me a while to make, and I know I've not been uploading that much, but I will try to be uploading more. And there is another video that I've cooked up, quite literally, for Gene's birthday, but I will be editing this after I finish this video. So once again, for the last time, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.